Good day to you, everybody. You're welcome to today's class. We're looking at financial accounting and one particular topic that everybody must be aware of and try to understand as much as possible is cash book and bank reconciliation. It's very, very fundamental to our progress in this particular class. So we're looking at cash book and bank reconciliation. Let me share my screen so that we can start the class in earnest. Okay. I have cash book and bank reconciliation. So let me put it in the presentation mode so that we can all see it clearly as much as possible. All right, so cash book and bank reconciliation. That's our focus and that's our topic for this particular class. Now we'll be dwelling more on cash book now. Subsequently, we look at bank reconciliation, later on. So let's just move ahead. At the end of this particular class, students are expected to have a good understanding of the meaning and concept of cash book. They are also expected to know or identify the types of cash books, and of course, also as much as possible try to post transactions with cash book and appreciate the concept of contra entries, and then understand how cash discount affect postings of cash transactions and know how to balance, the cash book at the end of this particular class. So join me as we just continue. Let's start with the meaning of cash book. What is a cash book? A cash book is a book that is used to record all transactions relating to cash receipts and payments in chronological order. It's a book of records. That's what cash book is. Okay, it is usually make use of for the purpose of recording transactions relating to cash. So when we talk about cash receipts or cash payments, this is where it is first recorded, and that's why we call it chronological order. The cash book records the receipt and payments of cash in an organization. Transactions, every transaction that has to do with cash, it is usually, recorded here. And here we talk about cash purchases, cash sales, receipt of cash from debtors, payment of cash to creditors, acquisition of new current assets, by cash. So every cash transaction will go into your cash book. So let's look at the purpose of cash book. Now, the cash book serves two major purposes. Number one, it's a book of original entries. So that means that this is the first place, or this is the first account that you post all cash transactions into. It also serves as a book of permanent entry. So and that talks about it as being referred to as a ledger account as well. So that's talking about cash book. Now let's look at the formats. Okay, a cash book is usually divided into two sides. The left side has to do with all cash receipts, while the right side, it records all cash payment. The left side of the cash book is called debit, and that's what we have here. So usually divided into two. So on this side, the left side, you have the debit, and then on the credit side, on the other side, the right side, you have, the credit. That side is called, credit. So all the dates, the particulars, and the amount will be recorded in either on the left or the right side, so long as it has to do with cash payment or cash receipt. So let's look at the types. The first one is a column, one column or single column cash book. Single column cash book records only cash receipts and payment. It has only one column on both sides of the account, for values to be recorded. So you have on the credit side, you have its own value, that's referring to here, and then on this side, the debit side, you also have it there. So it has only one column for amount, only one column for amount, and that's why you have amount on one side and of course the amount on the other side. So it has only one column for the purpose of recording values, whether it is payment or receipt. You have one column. That's why it's called one column cash book. Okay, so let's go to the second one. The second one is the two column cash book. Okay, the two column cash book is a cash book that combines both cash and bank transactions in one book. A two column cash book is a cash book that combines both cash and bank transactions in one book. So it is used to record transactions involving cash and checks. So when you talk about checks, then you know that it goes straight into your bank column. And then when we talk about cash, it goes straight into your, you post it into the cash, column. On each side of the cash book, two columns are maintained. So rather unlike the first one, where you have only one column for you to record, your values. Okay, what do you have here? You have two columns on each side. On each side, you have two columns, one for cash and then the second one for bank all your cash transactions will be recorded in the cash column, and then all your bank, transactions will be recorded in the column for bank. All cash received by the bank is debited. That is recorded in the cash column on the debit side, while all cash payments are credited. That is recorded in the cash column on the credit side of the cash book. Okay, so let's look at the concept of contra entry. Contra entry, what are we talking about? A contra entry is an entry for one transaction that is appearing on both sides of the cash book. One transaction, okay, but it's appearing on both sides of the cash book. It is used where an entry on the side of the cash book has a corresponding entry on the other side. Now, you know that for double entry, you have one transaction being recorded on one side, and then, on the credit side, and then you have another corresponding entry being debited in another account. But in this case now, it means that in the same book, all right? So a transaction that's appearing on the credit side, one leg is also appearing on the debit side. So what this means is that it's possible for you to go to the bank and withdraw money for the purpose of using it in the office. So that is where a contra entry takes place. Contra entry. So you have same amount on one on the right and one on the left, but then appearing in two different columns. All right. So when cash is withdrawn from bank to the office, you debit the cash, okay? You debit the cash and then the credit bank column. Now, when cash is taken from the office, still that's the office, that's the safe, okay, and lodged into the bank, then it means that you're going to debit the bank and then credit your cash. And of course, we have different effects that will be taking place. So when it is cash withdrawn from bank, it will reduce the cash in the bank. It will reduce the amount that you have in the bank and increase the cash that you have in the office. Okay. On the other hand, when money is taken from the office and lodged in the bank, it means that you're going to have the effect of an increase in money in the bank, and then while cash in the office will reduce. Okay, so that's talking about. So let's look at the format. Okay, for a two-column cash, this is the format. You have the date, you have the particulars, you have the folio. Okay, this is where you report the page. That's the page where the corresponding entry will be. All right, so you have cash, and then you have bank, you have date on the other side now, credit side, particulars, then you have the folio, and then you also have cash and bank. This is the way the format is. Two columns, okay, appearing on both sides of the cash book. Okay, so let's take a look at one or two examples so that we can actually appreciate what we are talking about even at this particular point in time. All right, so I will take you to another to an Excel page even right now, so that we have understanding. I'll be able to work this thing out. We're going to be doing it together as much as possible. So follow us as we do. So I'll start sharing this. I'll come back to it later on. So let's just move on to look at another an Excel page where we'll be able to work this out as much as possible. So let's go as I share another page even right now. Okay, so this is what we have. I'm going to share it now for all of us to see. It's coming up. It's an Excel page. Okay, so here we are. Now, we're saying that the following transactions took place in the business of John Power during the month of January 2024. John Power during the month of January 2024. So I want us to just pay attention, because we'll be looking at this particular example to have a good understanding of how to maintain, how to maintain cash book, a two-column cash book, as it were. So let's go ahead as we look at this even right now. So we have cash in hand, okay, of 25,000, cash at bank of $12,000. Okay, so you have these figures, given, and then you have purchases, you have sales. So let's look at how we're going to be recording this. Okay, so first you have the date. The date is also important practically. So January 1, 2024, basically. And then the first thing that you have is you're going to record this balance that you brought forward. Balance brought forward from the previous year, as it were, okay, starting with now. Okay, so in the cash column, you have 25,000, and then cash at bank, you also have 12,000 dollars. That's the first entry that you have made. Then on the 2nd of January, 2nd of January, so 2nd of January, you have just a minute, 2nd of January, you have, the first entry that you have there has to do with purchase of goods by cash. So what does that mean? You have purchases recorded as a particulars, okay, purchases, and then you have it recorded, you have to record it in the cash column because you bought goods, by cash. So you have 3,000, there. Okay, so move to the next item on the 4th of January. Okay, 4th of January, you have the sold goods, so sales for cash. So what does that mean? You're going to post this in your cash column. Okay, that's for that particular transaction. Then the next one is 7th of January. 7th of January, what happened again? Goods were purchased, and this time around they use check to pay. So it's going to come in your bank column. Okay, so you have $2,000 basically, there. So you move on to the next one. Sold goods on the 9th of January. 9th of January, sold goods. So you have sales again. Okay, sales. What medium or what did they get? They said goods for checks. So you're going to have it, in your bank column. That's 7,000. All right. So the next one, on the 9th, on the 9th, okay, we recorded that. So on the 11th, they received an amount was paid by Desmond. Okay, on the 11th of January, an amount was paid by Desmond. Okay, so you have Desmond there recorded in your particulars. So you have Desmond 18,000. Received check from Desmond 18,000. So you're going to have 18,000 in the bank column. In the bank column, you have 18,000. So that means you posted that one. Then the next on the 12th, okay, 12th of January, on 12th of January, we paid Victor. So we're going to record Victor here. For Victor, because you paid Victor check of 8,000. So you have under the back column, in the bank column, 8,000 posted there. That's the end of that particular transaction. And so you move on again to on the 14th. That was a check that they received, that John Power received. So that talks about 14th of January. 14th of January, we have check from Oliver, 14,000. So that's that transaction, 14th of January. So the next one was on the 17th. The next transaction took place on the 17th of January. We paid Simon. How? Simon was paid via check. So we're going to have check of 12,000 for paid to Simon recorded in the bank column. All right. So the next one, purchase equipment. So here you're going to have equipment. Equipment was purchased. But sorry, this is the date column. Let's move to the particular. So on the 18th of January. So equipment was purchased. What's the value? 2,000 by cash. So you're going to have 2,000, cash, there. All right. So we move on to the next transaction. Paid electricity, 19th of January. 19th of January. 19th January, they paid electricity. So you're going to have electricity, there as a payment for that particular transaction. So you have electricity, they're going to be recording, in your on the credit side because it was payment. Okay, paid electricity, how much? 4,000 by cash. So under where you go to your cash column and you record, electricity there. Okay, then the next place you go to is the next transaction. Let's go to the next transaction. Withdrew cash from bank for businesses. Now, take note of this. Okay, withdrew cash from bank for business use. So here on the 20th of January, so they withdrew cash. So here, because they went to bank to withdraw, so you're going to have their cash. But then in your bank column, you're going to record the amount that you withdrew from the bank, 13,000, from the cash. Now, the corresponding entry, this is a contra entry now. This is a contra entry. Okay, this is a contra entry. So you have cash, taken out of cash, taken out of bank, and this time around, you're going to be having the corresponding entry on the debit side, and then it's going to come here as what? As a debit entry to your cash, into your cash. That means that money is moved from the bank into your cash. So in this case, now you see that you're going to be talking about a contra, and like we said earlier on, that to be depicted by a letter C. Letter C. So you're going to have folio, here. So FO, and then you have here C, letter C. Letter C. That's what you have now, because you have moved money from where? From the bank to your cash. So let's come to this side as well. You're going to also designate this as a C. Okay, so folio, you have FO. Okay, let's bring this together, and then you're going to have this sign, there representing a contract. So once you see this, you know that this is one transaction, but of course being recorded twice in the same cash book. So that's for 28th. All right, same date. And then here we're going to be talking about bank. So that's really now narration. So let's go to the next one. 21. Withdrew cash. That's on the 21st. Withdrew cash. 21 of January. 21st of January, withdrew cash for family use. So this is a drawing. So drawing, they made money withdrew money for the personal use of the business owner. So that's the drawing. So how much was taken from the bank? So 6,000. You're going to be having 6,000, in a bank column. All right. So let's go at the next one on the 23rd of January. 23rd of January, you go to talking about paid purchase equipment, and like for home use. Now, purchase equipment not for office, so you can't call it equipment because you bought it for home use. So again, we're going to be calling it as a drawing. Okay, taking money that's going to be assumed to be for that the money has been taken for the personal use of the owner. So we do purchase equipment 3,500. So 3,005. Okay, you use cash. So let's go to it's going to be in the cash column. So 3,005. All right. So now cash sales banked. Card sales bank. So what does that mean? It means that they sold money and they bank it, and this one is going to be taken as money down they sold, and then they banked it immediately. Now they didn't take it to the till, they didn't take it to the office to say, okay, let's put it in the office and bank it later on, because the moment they they sold the goods, they banked it immediately. So it's not a contra entry. So here you have sales. Let me use capital S. Sales. Okay, so you have the amount that the bank immediately, so going to be in the bank column, 35,000. 35,000. So receive check from Samuel on the 30th of January, Samuel. So you're going to have Samuel as the person that paid. Okay, check 28,000. 28,000. So now paid check to Bravo. So go to come to the credit side. That because the payment paid check to Bravo. So you're going to have on the 31st of January, paycheck to Bravo, and we have the name Bravo, there. Bravo. So how much was paid? Check 20,000 naira, or okay, 20,000, rather $20,000, $20,000. So that's as per the transactions for this particular accounts. For this particular month, the cash book. So you have the total here of 44,000 in the cash column, and then you have 114 in the bank column. So let's look at the difference. Okay, here we have a total that we have is 12,005, and then what we have is 61,000. 61,000. So what does that mean? This side, the credit side is lower than the debit side. So you now have to look for the balancing figure. That's what you're going to use, for the purpose of balancing your account. So on this side now, that means that you're going to have a balancing figure here. Okay, so you come here to say balance, carry down CD, balance carry down. You look for the difference between 12,005 and 44,000. All right, what's the difference? So you just do a calculation. 12,000, so you have 500. Okay, 500, and then you're going to talk about the difference of 4. So you have 3 left. So you have 31,500. 31,500. So that's the balance that you have. So our program is such a way that since you have 31,000, so the 31,000 comes to your balance brought down. Okay, and then let's look at this: 61,000 minus 114,000. So 1,000, that's 3,000. Left 3,000 there, and then by the time you deduct 6 from 11, you talk about 5. So 53,000 is what you have left. So that is that's the bank, that's the cash book, a 2-column cash book prepared for the purpose of recording all the cash transactions that took place in the month of January for John Power, basically. So that's what we have in this particular account. I believe that we've been able to have a good understanding of what we have been talking about in this particular class, talking about cash book, and of course we're looking at cash book, a 2-column cash book. So I'm going to just save this. So now I'm moving this one to our PowerPoint. Okay, and I'm going back to our PowerPoint now. Okay, I'm just copying it from where we have this, and then I'll move it to the PowerPoint that we started with. So I'm going to stop sharing this. So let's go back to, let me share another, go back to our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so PowerPoint is what we have. Let's go to that same page. I believe you can see this screen now. Okay, so we go back to, this is where we are. So we can say that let's remove this here. Okay, and then bring that one here. So this is what we have. So from the cash book, we've been able to see the solution, here. All right, so that's the solution in PowerPoint. Coming back from where we did all the different calculations, and so this is what we have as the solution to this particular illustration. I believe we'll be able to get a good understanding. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, here we talk about the last type of cash book. So a 3-column cash book, a 3-column cash book. This cash book has 3 columns on each side of the account. On each side of the account has 3 different columns. Excuse me. All right, so we have the discount column, we have the cash column, and then we have the bank column. That's why we call it 3-column cash book. So we have discount on this other side, the credit side. You have your discount, cash, banks. Now, when we talk about this column, we're actually looking at where you have values, where figures will be recorded, not necessarily where you have the date, particulars, and all. No, we're talking about where values will be recorded, where amount will be recorded. Okay, where the transaction, the figures will be recorded. That's what you use to label, the type of cash book. So in this case, you have one is used to record cash transaction. The second one records bank transactions, and then the third one is used to record discount received or paid. Discount received or paid. Okay, so let's move. When we talk about discount, what are we referring to? Discount is a cash incentive given by an entity to her customers, given by an entity to her customers, or received by an entity from her creditors to enhance prompt settlement of the amount owed or owned. So that you must get this particular terminology very, very right. Okay, when we talk about cash discount, it's a cash incentive given either given by the entity, the company, to her customers, or received by the entity from her creditors to enhance prompt settlement of the amount owed or owned. So there are two types: discount received and discount allowed. Discount received, discount allowed. When we talk about discount received, we're saying that this cash incentive received by the business for settling its for settling let me just this is for settling its 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 debts, or yes, for settling this let me use the word debt here, for settling its debts. Okay, so that's for settling its debt. So that's what takes place there. So when you receive cash, because you are settling the debt promptly, then um, we're talking about um, cash discount received. So this type of transaction is regarded as income. It is entered into the discount column on the credit side of the credit side of the cash book. Pardon me, this so I should have removed one part there. Okay, on the credit side of the cash book. Okay, then discount allowed. Discount allowed is given out by the business to a customer for prompt settlement of his account. So you when your creditor, okay, when your creditor is the one, you're set paying your creditors and the creditor is allowing you an incentive, that's what you call it discount receipt. Now, this time around, when you have your customer, a debtor, for him you're trying to encourage him to pay up his debt as early as possible, you give him a discount. So in this case, you are the one giving the allowance. So it's an expense on your part. So it's an expense to be regarded as expense to the giving company. It's entered in the discount column or the debit side of the cash book. So it's going to be on the debit side, while this one is going to be on the credit, on the credit side. So please, it's important that we take note of this terminology and have a good understanding of what we're referring to. Okay. So now I ask a question: what's the difference between a cash discount and a trade discount? I will leave that for you to just as much as possible get to find out, and then know the difference, and then know how to treat them. So I will not answer that for you now. So you go ahead and answer it. Maybe when maybe the as you're going to share this later on, I see it in the YouTube page, you can put it there as your comment, or as as a comment that everybody will see at the end of the day. Okay, so that talks about a three-column cash. Now let's look at excuse me. This is the final exercise that we'll be doing. It's quite lengthy. I hope we'll be able to just quickly just run through this. And then, so with Makodoc Enterprises has the cash balance of this analysis naira 205,000 and the bank balance of 405,600 naira. During the month of January, the following transactions took place. So these are the transactions that took place in the month of January. Okay, these are transactions that took place in the month of January, and I want us to take a look at them so that we can, as much as possible, try to solve, the questions that we have, here. The first one, because just like we did the first one, we're going to have all of this settled out by virtue of the transaction that took place, in this particular person's account. So let's go to. I want us to go to. So I want us the lettering here is quite small. That's why I'm not using this, and I think it'll be faster if you use Excel. Then I'll import that in here so that everybody can see it. I will import the solution here so that we can all see. So I'll stop sharing this. I'll go back to Excel again, and please just a minute. I'll go back to Excel. So this is Excel. So Excel is Excel. So I'm going to have this done, and then we also have this sorted out. So Excel, let's go back to Excel. I'm going to have this removed so that we can do it together, and then you're going to follow everything from the beginning to the end. All right. So let's go to our transaction or our let's try to solve them now. Okay. So the question that we have. So here we have the solution that we want to just as much as possible provide. So we're going to be talking about, we're going to be looking at this example, one after the other, the transactions, one after the other. So here we have the first thing that you're going to record is the balance brought forward. Balance brought forward. So this one happened on the 1st of January, 1st of January. So 1st of January is what you're going to have here. So balance brought forward as well. Balance brought forward. So what you have here in the cash column, you have 205,000. And then in the bank column, you have 405,600. Now, don't forget, we need to have our currency. It's important that we have our currency there. And the currency that we're going to insert is going to insert currency. Trying to get the symbols. It should be somewhere. I don't want to scatter this. So let me use this. Let me use this. Permit me to use this. Nigerian Naira. Okay. Nigerian Naira. I know I have it, but I'm trying to avoid just putting anything that will probably disrupt the flow. So Nigerian Naira. Okay, so let's leave it like that. Nigerian Naira. So cash, we have 200 plus there, the cash column, and then we have 405 in the bank column. That's the figure that we brought this company brought forward. Okay, so let's go to the second entry. Now on the 4th, they sold goods of 10,500 in what? In cash. So we're going to have on the 4th of January, they sold goods in cash, sales in cash of how much? 10,500. Going to be fast. Then the third transaction, purchase good worth 25,000 in cash. Okay, that's on the what? On the 5th. On the 5th of so come back to the credit side. On the 5th of January. So you have, what did they do? They on the 5th of January, purchase good worth 25,000. Okay, purchase good worth 25,000 on the 5th of January. So here we are. Okay, I've omitted this one. Pardon me. Purchase office typewriter for cash. So that was on the 3rd January. So typewriter. 7,005 cash. So on the 5th of January, so let's go back now. 5th of January, purchases. I believe we are following purchases. It was cash. They paid cash, 25,000 Naira. That's purchases on the 5th. Okay, so let's go back to our, let's go back to purchase goods on the 5th, 25,000, then deposited 20,000 into, that was cash of 20,000 into the bank. What does that tell you? That's a contra entry. Contra entry. So we come back here on the same day, 5th of January, 2023. We're supposed to 2023, not 2024. So let me change this to 2023. Okay, purchases. All right, this time around, cash. So cash was debited into the bank. So you're going to move money from your cash to your bank. That's a contra entry. So here you are, a C we recorded here. And then you come back here to see you have a C, there, capital C. Let me use that one. So they move the money into where? Into the bank. So 20,000 will come in here as movement from the cash to bank. So this is this took place in 2023. So when on the 5th of January 2023, so what do you have there? Bank. Okay, you have it here as so they move from cash. Okay, so here you're going to be talking about bank. Sorry, pardon, this is supposed to be bank, and then it's supposed to be cash. So you're going to replace it with what the other name that the corresponding transaction that took place. The name is going to change it to cash. So it came from cash now to bank, here. So let's go and then let's look at the next transaction. Receive a check from Hascan of 55,000 on the 6th. So it's going to be on the debit side. 6th of January, Hascan receive how much? 55,000, a check, 55,000. All right, so a check was received from Pascal. So you're going to put it in your bank column. So that's on the 6th. Okay, so let's move on to the next transaction. The next transaction was paid rent of 65,000 by check. Pay rent of 65,000 by check. So on the 6th of January 2023, pay rent as office rent. Office rent of how much? 65,000 by check. So going to be in your column here. All right, that's what you have. Then the next transaction that took place, let's go look at it. That one was they receive cash of 90,000. So these are first transaction that will involve a discount. Please take note of this. Receive cash of 90,000 from Tomilo's boutique cash in full settlement of his account after allowing him a discount of 10,000. So now received 90,000. How much was received? The amount that's the amount you're going to post. Okay, that's the amount you're going to post. So on the 6th of January, the actual amount of money that they got will be the amount they're going to record. Please take note of that. Okay, please take note of that. Now here we have 2023. So how much was actually received from Tomilo's boutique? So received 90,000 cash. Okay, so he got a discount of 10,000. So you're going to have a discount here of 10,000. So altogether, the total amount of money was initially 100,000. Okay, but he got 90,000. Meaning that he gave a discount of 10,000. So here is discount given. Now let's go to the next transaction. Okay, let's go to the next transaction. Let's go up. Next transaction, withdrew the sum of 65,000 from the bank for office use. So this is a contra entry now. Withdrew from the bank for office use. So let's go to our credit side. On the 8th of January 2023, withdrew cash of how much now? Of 65,000, okay, from the bank. So another 65,000, I hope you're correct, from the bank, okay, for office use. So here you're going to say cash, and here you're going to say bank. Call it bank. So you're going to record 65,000 naira there. Okay, when? On the 8th of January 2023. Okay, there you are. So let's move on to the next transaction that happened. Let's go to the next transaction. Was on the 10th of January 2023. Purchase generation worth 98,500 in cash. So they paid cash. So let's go to our credit side because it was a purchase. So we come here on the 10th of January 2023. You have here generator, 98,500 cash. Okay, the next transactions that took place when receive check from J. Ades in settlement of his account for 50,000. So in this man's account, it was 50,000. Okay, in settlement of his account for 50,000 after deducting a cash discount of 10%. What is 10% of 50,000? That's 5,000. So you're going to come to this your debit side, and it transaction took place when on the 10th of January 2023. J others. So going to have your discount column 5,000, and here you have 45,000. Oh, sorry, 45,000. Excuse me, 45,000. So that you have, okay, 45,000. A discount of 10%. Go to the 10% from the initial figure of 50,000, and then you have, so that means they're going to get at the end of the day 45,000 naira. So let's go to the next transaction. Lodge the sum of 45,000 into the bank. So this time around, you're taking from, look at the terminology. That's why you need to practice. You need to do a lot of practice so that you're able to have an understanding of how these things are being framed. The framing of the question will determine, okay, how you're going to post your transaction. This one says, lodge the sum of 45,000 into the bank. Where did the money come from? It came from the office. It came from the till. It came from the safe. So it must have been inside the office. So they are taking it to the bank to go and lodge. So in this case now, it's a contra entry. Okay, so we're going to say from cash, move from cash. That's on, it happened on the 15th, of January 2023. So you're going to have here bank. Because you're taking from the cash, how much are you taking now from the bank? Okay, 45,000. 45,000. So you are going to have it's going to be, this is a contra entry now. Don't forget the contra sign. So you have your January 2023, and then what are you going to have? You're going to have another figure here, this time around in your bank, because it was taken initially from the cash into where? Into bank. So you have cash here. Okay, I hope we are following. I hope you are following. All right, so let's move on to the next transaction. On the same 15, paid SRB the sum of 140,000 by check in full settlement of a debt of 160. What took place here? I believe you have a good understanding of this. Paid SRB the sum of 140,000 by check in full settlement of a debt of 160. How much was the debt? 160,000. But how much did the man pay? Or this company, how much did they pay? They paid SRB 140. So that means that a check, a 20,000, the difference must have been received as what? As discount. As discount. So you come here to say, we paid SRB on the 15th of January, 2023, rather. 2023. So SRB 2023 check 100. So that means you're going to be having 140,000, there. 140,000. And then how much will be the discount of 20,000? 20,000. I hope you'll be able to understand that very, very well. It's important that you practice this, as much as possible, so that you have a good understanding of how questions like this are, framed. Okay, so let's go to the next transaction after. So we paid Olatox sum of 25,000, who allowed him a discount of 2,500. Okay, so this time around, he paid Olatox on the 20th of January 2023. So you have Olatox and Co. How much? The sum of 25,000, who allowed him a discount of 2,005. So have discount 2,500 here. And then how did he pay? Cash. So you're going to be having 25,000 here as the amount that he paid in cash. The amount that he paid in cash. All right. So let's go to the last one, or the next one. We drew the sum of 25,000 from the bank for office use. So let's go here. Let's record it. Date that took place was January 2023, 22nd of it. So here you have from the bank, cash. From the bank, how much? 25,000. Okay, 25,000 from the bank. And then you're going to be having a contract there. So go back to um, your the debit side, okay, to record the receipt of January 2023, and then you go to label it. That's the narration now, narration of the bank. And then you have 25,000 there. And so you move on to the next transaction, which happens to be the last one, pay salaries on the 31st of January 2023. So here the narration will be salaries. Okay. And then you go, how did he pay? Check, 80,000, 80,000 naira, check. So that's what we have at the end of the day. All right. I believe that we'll be able to have a good understanding of how to record these transactions. So let's look. Is there any balancing figure? Yes. So here, your discount column, you have discount allowed. You have allowed discount here of 15,000. Total cash was 440,500, and then total bank money that entered into the bank, okay, plus the initial amount of money that they brought forward, 525,600. So here you have 22,500, and then if you have 221,000, and then here you have the sum of 375. So of course the debit side happens to be bigger than what we have there. So let's try to do let's try to manipulation. So on the 31st of January 2023, so you have balance carried down, balance carried. So you look for the difference between the balance, the figure, the debit side, and then the difference between the figure on the debit side and that of the credit side. So you're going to deduct this minus from this. So you have 219, 219. So you come here to say 219,500. So that's what you have. Now you have been able to get the balancing figure. All right. So this figure now is the same thing, 440, 500, 440, 500. So what's the difference here? So you use your calculator, okay, to look for the difference. 526, 525, 5600 minus 375. So that's what you have. So here you have 150,600. So 150,600. So we are going to get the same figure, for both sides now. So come to this side to say balance, okay, balance brought down, balance brought down. So balance brought down would be 219, 219,500. And then here, let me see the figure. On this side, you have 150,600. 50,600. So that's what you have. Okay, so this figure should actually be here. Pardon me. Should be there. So that's what you have. Now we can actually remove this line or this row so that we are home and dry. So that is the solution to that particular question or the illustration. So let me copy like I did the other one the other time. Let me copy from here and then also move to our PowerPoint. Okay, so I can close this. Let me try to save. Can close this. So I'm moving this from Excel to a PowerPoint. Okay, so I can stop sharing this. All right, so let's go to let me try to share. I'll go to our PowerPoint. So here we are. Okay, so let's go to, guess the last part of it is this is this question. Okay, and then let me remove this. Okay, Marco. deck. All right, so let me try to bring the solution there. So this is what we have. Okay. All right. And I try to remove the initial one. I believe we have been able to be able to finish this. I'm trying to make sure that we don't have the underlining um, record there. Oh, so please just bear with me. But of course, that's the solution. I've just tried to bring from Excel to PowerPoint, here. All right. So that is telling us that that's bringing us to the end of the class. So we have been able to go through everything from the beginning, definition of cash book. Okay. Talking about the different types of cash book, single column, two column, and then the um, three column cash book. And of course, we have been able to solve some questions here, illustrating how to treat or how to bring to bear what we have learned, so far, into this picture. And I believe that we have been able to see it clearly, and we can actually handle these questions when they come, okay, as much as possible. So that's what we have been able to, do here today. So this is a solution as we have seen it right now, clearly stated and clearly done. From Excel, we brought it here. So we have also been able to introduce the concept of, folio. That's talking about the concept of, you know, cash discount. Cash discount, that's cash discount receipt, and of course, cash discount um, um, talking about discount receipt and card discount given. Okay, so that's a C there, and then we also have a C here. It's important that we take note of that. So we're able to have all of this done here, and that will bring us to the end of this class related to cash book. I believe that we have been able to learn one or two things, in this particular class. This is online, and I want to appeal that, of course, you subscribe to my YouTube channel as much as possible so that you'll be able to see when next another a class or lecture is posted, in the channel. I mean, my YouTube channel. So it's important that um, we log in there, and then of course, as much as possible, subscribe so that you can be a follower of whatever I post, into the page. So thank you very much for joining this class. Once again, try as much as possible to subscribe, like, make comments as much as possible. I will see it. I also try to review and then get back to you. If you have questions, put it there. I can assure you that I'll come back online, and then as much as possible also try to provide solution. If you have questions, just put it there. If you have comments, put it there. But please like and share as well to everybody so that they can be part of this. If this particular class has been of a good benefit or immense benefit to you, like, share this particular page. Thank you very much for being part of it. So next one, we're looking at bank oscillation proper. So till then, I wish you all the very best. Thank you very, very much. God bless you.